One human rights group blasts the Bahamian government's decision to deport undocumented migrants impacted by Hurricane Dorian. And in sport, Trinidad and Tobago's women's football team begin their Olympic qualifying campaign with a win over Aruba. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Wednesday, October 2, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break.
I've always wanted to know, how do you actually do it? How do you really do the online miracle business, especially something that involves residual income? That's the key.
Okay, so there's two questions there. So the first question is how did I get into it?
Yes.
Well, I lived my passion for 16 years. So when I stopped my sport, I had actually lost my fourth Olympic child to the same girl.
So as far as your artistry is concerned, oh my gosh, you have another song that you want to talk about, and it's entitled
Don't Throw It All Away. That's one of the songs that I had I did on my EP.
Don't Throw It All Away.
Yeah, that's a really, really good one too. It talks about not throwing your passions away. Like if you're going through a struggle, pretty much, don't throw your dreams away. Keep going, keep driving, keep being persistent. It may take time to get there, but you will eventually get there.
The human rights group Rights Bahamas has criticized the decision of the Bahamian government to deport undocumented migrants who survived the passage of Hurricane Dorian on September 1. The group said in a statement the government's plan is savage, cold-hearted, and illegal. Rights Bahamas also condemned what they say is a sudden about-face from the government's earlier declaration that it will not target undocumented migrant victims from the storm. Earlier this week, Immigration Minister Ellsworth Johnson said the shelters would not be used to circumvent the law. And Attorney General Carl Bethel said migrants who have lost their jobs as a result of the hurricane need to go home even if their work permits have not yet expired. Rights Bahamas has also branded the Hubert administration's position as a shameful attempt at political posturing aimed at currying favor with xenophobic elements of the populace. Rights Bahamas says it has alerted international human rights groups to the government's plan to expel migrants affected by the hurricane. However, despite the criticism, Immigration Minister Ellsworth Johnson says no one will be burdened or will be a burden on the state, and some Bahamians agree.
To these Bahamians, although they may be stricken with tragedy, no one is above the law.
The law's in the Bahamas, and if that's the law, it'll have to be carried out. We have shown quite a bit of compassion towards the Haitian community, but as I said, the law is the law.
It's a sad situation considering the fact that a lot of these people are suffering regardless of where they're from. But then on the flip side of it, the law is the law. I just hope that in applying the law, we would show some level of compassion.
And with this change in tone from the immigration minister, former Minister of State for Immigration Brandon McCartney says the government needs to take a firm stance on the matter so that people know they mean business when it comes to enforcing immigration laws.
I think the government needs to get a strategy together. This is an opportunity to get rid of those shanty towns. And if now the government is saying that they're going to start repatriating, good, but do it.
But the former parliamentary secretary for the Bahamas Department of Immigration, Cleola Hamilton, believes government should let calmer heads prevail.
We are hurting each other, and this is not the time. When everything is settled and things happen, then we can decide how we're going to go about things. But right now, we as a people, because so much of us are interlinked, we need to try see if we can calm down a little bit before we make decisions that will hurt us in the long run.
In other news now, Jamaicans may soon vote in a referendum on the island's buggery law. This is among recommendations by a parliamentary committee following a review of the Sexual Offences Act, which was presented in Parliament on Tuesday. More in this TVJ News report.
Joint Select Committee had some 19 meetings reviewing the Sexual Offences Act, the Offences Against the Persons Act, the Domestic Violence Act, and the Child Care and Protection Act. In opening the parliamentary debate on the matter, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck highlighted some of the recommendations made.
It was posited that forced anal penetration should be made a criminal offence akin to vaginal penetration with a commensurate penalty. An examination of the legislative authorities revealed, however, that any amendment to that effect could be construed as an implied repeal of the offence of buggery.
It was, however, determined that the committee did not have the power to recommend that amendment. Mr. Chuck reiterated that such consideration will have to be considered by Parliament after Jamaicans vote on the issue.
Over in St. Vincent and the Grenadines now, 4 prison officers are in police custody in connection with the escape of an accused murderer who has since turned himself into police. Police said that Vernon Primus, who is awaiting trial in connection with the November 2015 murder of 33-year-old real estate agent Charlene Graves, escaped custody at Her Majesty's Prison in Kingstown Monday night. Primus has also been indicted in the United States, where he lived for almost 2 decades in connection with the murder of a 16-year-old in 2006. He is also charged with 1 count of kidnapping, 2 counts of rape, and 2 counts of buggery. Police Commissioner Colin John declined to comment on how Primus escaped the prison or the time frame in which it took place, saying it is the subject of an investigation. He said Primus was discovered missing Tuesday morning, and on receiving that information, police warned key witnesses in the case or the cases against the accused. The police chief said a manhunt was launched as they searched for Primus, but would not comment on whether the accused had been assisted in his escape. Primus today turned himself in, accompanied by lawyer Jomo Thomas. And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. Trinidad and Tobago senior women's squad had a strong start in the Olympics qualifying campaign after beating Aruba by 3-0 at the Atto Boldon Stadium. TV6's Vinod Nawadi reports.
From the kickoff at the Atto Boldon Stadium, Trinidad and Tobago looked to attack the flank, which the coach revealed afterwards was the game plan against Aruba. And it paid dividends after a couple minutes of play. Chanel Arjun was picked out on the flank, and she managed to cut one back to the on-rushing Nia Walcott for a point-blank shot, goal. And they pressed for more with skipper Karen Forbes trying her luck from a distance. 1-0 it stayed at the half. And the keeper from Aruba gave TNT a gift by putting the ball down and picking it up a couple of times. However, the hosts couldn't capitalize with the indirect free kick. Trinidad and Tobago had to wait till the 73rd to get a second, taking advantage of poor defensive play. Afia Cornwall with the goal.
And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.